Hello everybody, welcome to Morgoni MES College Online Learning Hub. This is Muhammad Khurshid Alam, Head Department of English. Today we will study Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. This lesson is for the students of Honours First Year under National University. The objective of this session is to discuss and analyze Sonnet 18 and that will provide better understanding of Shakespeare in sonnet. William Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright and actor. He was born on 26th April 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. His father was a successful local businessman and his mother was the daughter of a landowner. He is often called England's national poet and nicknamed the Bard of Avon. Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway at the age of 18. She was 8 years older than him. They had three children, Susanna and the twins Hamnet and Judith. Between 1585 and 1592, he began a successful career in London as an actor, writer, and part owner of the playing company called the Lord Chamberlain's Men, later known as the King's Men. He wrote about 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and two long narrative poems, and a few other verses. Shakespeare produced most of his known work between 1589 and 1613. His early plays were mainly comedies and histories. Then wrote many tragedies until 1600, including Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth, considered some of the finest work in the English language. He died on 23rd April 1616 in Stratford-upon-Avon. A sonnet is a 14-line poem that rhymes in a particular pattern. In Shakespeare's sonnets, the rhyme pattern is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G, with the final couplet used to summarize the previous 12 lines and or present a surprising end. The rhythmic patterns of the sonnet is the iambic pentameter. An iamb is a metrical foot consisting of one stressed syllable and one unstressed syllable. Shakespeare uses 5 of these in each line, and which makes it a pentameter. Here we have provided some visual references from Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet, along with Sonnet 18. Let us listen to the standard recitation of Sonnet 18 by Tom O. Bedlam, along with visual presentation of the sonnet line by line.
William Shakespeare, Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
What is this sonnet all about? It is addressed to a fair youth, and the poet wishes to preserve the beauty against the effect of time. Shakespeare explores from all angles the sentiments the young man inspires him. There is repeated idea of poetry's capacity to immortalize. Let us analyze the sonnet as per its structure. This question in line 1 is flattering in itself as a summer's day is often associated with beauty. In line 2, Shakespeare, however, explained that his love's beauty exceeds that of the summer and does not have its tendency towards unpleasant extremes. In line 3 and 4, Shakespeare describes the fragility and the short duration of summer's beauty. The use of the word lease remind us as the fact that everything beautiful remains so for a limited time only, and after a while its beauty will forcibly taken away. In line 5 and 6, Shakespeare states that the sun, which he personifies and refers to as the eye of heaven, can be too hot or blocked from view by the clouds, unlike his more temperate love. In lines 7 and 8, the repetition of the word fair highlights the fact that this fate is inescapable for everything that possesses beauty. Line 9 through 12. Suddenly, the tone and direction of the poem changes dramatically. Moving on from bashing summer and the limitations inherent in nature, the speaker pronounces that the beloved he is speaking to is not subject to all of these rules he has laid out. Shakespeare, however, states that his love will not lose their beauty to death or time, but will be preserved through his poetry. In the couplet, the poet expresses that as long as there are humans alive on this planet, his beloved's life and beauty will live on through this sonnet. Shakespeare's self-assured claim makes it possible to argue that the purpose of the poem was not actually to pay a beloved person a compliment, but rather to praise oneself for poetic skills. Finally, this sonnet certainly speaks of the poet's beloved, but more than that, it speaks of his own poetry. He knows that the individual human body cannot survive the passage of time and that it will eventually fade away. The poet knows that there is only one way to become immortal, and that is through the creation of timeless art. He is confident that his poetry will be read and held in high esteem for many generations to come. Hence, the beauty of his beloved may not literally survive, but the praise of that beauty in the poet's words can never fade away entirely. The themes of the Sonnet 18 are time, love, beauty, and nature. According to Shakespeare, time and nature change. Love outlast time. Poetry outlasts both love and time. In Sonnet 18, the poet tries to preserve the immortality of his beloved through his poetry. The tone of this poem vacillates between pessimism and optimism. However, the tone is endearing and deep devotion for the lover. Shakespeare uses several poetic devices in his sonnet. He uses metaphor, alliteration, simile, hyperbole, and assonance. Besides this, he also uses personifications and repetition to display his artistic mastery. He also uses symbols such as season and sun to give his expressions utmost clarity. Here is the analysis of the scansions of Sonnet 18. We provided a standard scansion for you. Here are some questions for you. Follow this session and prepare the questions at home. Thank you for being with us. See you in the next session.